Good evening, everyone. We're here at Carolina Mountain Lights, our 2019 Christmas light show. And I wanted to do kind of a daytime walkthrough here to give some of the newer people some ideas on what I did with the show this year. This will give you kind of an overall view of how it's laid out. We'll move right on up here. Start at the very beginning with my spiral trees. Now, the newest addition to our show this year was the Waterfall tower, and it's kind of several props in one. You got the Waterfall tower itself, and then you have the sphere on top. It's a 48-inch sphere, and 16 spiral trees running all the way around the circumference of the Waterfall tower. Spiral trees, they're only 3-foot spiral trees, and you would be surprised the pixel density in these. I only have 58 pixels on the spirals themselves and 5 more in the stars, and they actually look very good at night. I thought the density would be too low for them, but I was very happy with them. And yes, my controllers are on the ground. We practice safe sex here at the Carolina Mountain Lights. They have condoms on all of them. These are the differential receivers here. Moving on up to the Waterfall tower itself. I did a separate video strictly on this Waterfall tower on how I built it, but I'll give you a quick rundown of it. You'll see at the top and the bottom consist of two 48-inch jogging trampolines, the frames. Now, I was able to get those at half price at Walmart. So it made a lot more sense just to buy them pre-made rather than try to make them myself. I made a little cradle that goes into the top up there that the controllers and the sphere can sit on. The sphere, I also have another video that shows the build of it. The hubs on it are actually 3D printed. The spokes that come out, they are fiberglass garden stakes. That turned out really well and looks really good. It's got over 600 pixels on it. The Waterfall tower is 48 strings. 16 of those strings, the long ones here, are 150 pixels, and the shorter ones are 100 pixels. The Waterfall tower itself, I have it sub-modeled out to where it works as kind of a cylindrical matrix. But the first 48 pixels are on the Waterfall tower itself. All the strings coming out from it are just staked to the ground. That was the hardest part about this setup, was actually measuring these things out and get them spaced out evenly all the way around. It was fun doing that with 48 different strings. Now, I did a walkthrough video a couple of years ago to show some of the props that I'm using this year, but I'll go ahead and give you a closer look at some of them. These are my mini trees, 48-inch mini trees, 340 pixels each. Base of it is just a circle of plywood. I keep saying every year I'm going to replace this plywood with something more durable that's not susceptible to the elements. But this is the 3rd year in a row I've used them, and they're still working great, so not really worried about it. The top of them is an 1.5 inch thick piece of 2 by 10, I believe. I cut a circle out of. That thing will last forever, so I'm not worried about it. Like I say, 340 pixels, 2 universes of 170. On the top, I have, these are actually 3D printed with the transparent filament. These are 30 pixel stars. Pixels are actually inside, so they get good refraction inside that transparent filament. And these are my pixel sticks and spinners. Give you a close-up view of how I have them mounted. These are just Emboscolio strips, 3-inch spacing. There are 3 runs on this. Total of 108 pixels. And they are just zip tied on with the wire itself. This is the 3rd year for these as well, and they have shown no sign of wear. They've worked great. Spinners are 8-spoke spinners, 96 pixels, I believe. These I made out of wireframe and Emboscolio strips. I showcased these in my last walkthrough video also. And moving on down here, you have my circles. Move back a little bit and give you an overall view. I have 12 circles. These circles are made out of the PVC conduit, the gray PVC. There's 100 pixels in each. And these are also submodeled into 2 hemispheres. I have the top and the bottom. The thing I like about circles, I replaced my arches with circles. The thing I like about them is you can submodel them where you have the top half is still an arch. So you're not losing anything if you change from arches to circles. Just gaining a lot more flexibility. These are just drilled out evenly all the way around. Like I say, 100 pixels. I've been running these for 3 years and have yet to have to replace a pixel on one of them. And you can see the 1/2-inch PVC EMT, excuse me, half-inch EMT running behind them. That is to keep them straight and even. It's worked great. One of these days I'm going to paint it black. And the center piece that goes into the ground is just a piece of lost my train of thought here. Just a piece of rebar that goes into the ground. I'm running these off of differential receivers also. And moving on up here to the trees, I have 3 different size twig trees this year. First one you see here is just a 6-foot twig tree like you buy in the box stores that I put pixels on. Has 170 pixels on it. I've had these for about 4 or 5 years. They've always worked great. The middle one here, I call my midi twig tree, is the newest addition this year. I have a video on my channel also of how I built this. You see the hubs of it are 3D printed. The twigs themselves are the fiberglass garden stakes. This thing's performed well also. Right now this is a 10-foot twig tree. If you can notice, the top is a little flat on it. I didn't like the way it turned out, so I'm going to add about 3 or 4 more levels to this. Probably about 2 more feet to bring it more to a point, and then put a star on it for next year. And these are my mega twig trees. These are 15 footers. This is the 3rd year for them as well. I remember I got something over 1,600 pixels on each of these. I have 2 of them. These are my old design. Pretty rough. I've replaced it with the 3D printed ones. But it's still functional. Like I say, it's on its 3rd year and still working well. And moving on back to the back here, we have my 3D printed snowflakes. This is the 3rd year for them. 126 pixels. And what some of you probably won't believe is I printed all these with regular PLA filament. And it's the 3rd year and they still are not damaged, haven't lost any of their, any of their strength, have not warped. No, I'm not suggesting you use just PLA filament, but it works well for our environment here. They are mounted on 20-foot EMT. It's just stuck in the ground with a PVC pipe that's stuck into is driven about 2 feet into the ground. And they just stand right up in it. I've never had any problem with wind with them. And we'll finish up here with our mega tree, of course. Stand back and give you a better view of it. On the top is a 300 pixel 5-level star. I made that out of 9-gauge steel wire. Shaped it myself. It's on year 4, I believe. Still working great. The newest addition to the mega tree, you'll see this ring at the bottom. 9-foot diameter. I went to Harbor Freight and bought one of their tubing rollers. Drew a 9-foot diameter circle with a piece of chalk on the cement and shaped 4 quarter pieces. You see right here, it's a connection point on one of the quarters. And I just put a piece of EMT on the inside of it to where I could slide it in to this side. And put an eye bolt into it to hold them together. The eye bolt also gives you something to stake it to the ground with. Using the tubing roller, it came out perfect. I know a lot of guys have a problem with tubing rollers that twist on them. But I came up with a technique to eliminate most of that. Look on the inside a little bit. You'll see I have a standard ASAP pole. My portable hole, I went a little heavy on it intentionally. This one weighs probably 160 pounds. Luckily I have a tractor I can move it with. Need to tie it down. I use the ratcheting straps that most people use to tie stuff down in the truck. Since I started using these ratcheting straps, I've not had any problem at all with my mega tree between the ratcheting straps and the extra heavy portable hole. So that pretty much covers the whole show. I just wanted to put this out there in case any of the newer guys wanted some ideas of some things to do for their display. Thanks for watching, guys.